Hello, Tigers, and welcome to the Storage Room. I'm William McDermott with...
Dennis Polanco, Mr. Polanco, White Plains High School English.
How are you doing today, Mr. Polanco?
I'm great. I'm just being honored, and I'm so honored by you interviewing me, Mr. McDermott. You rock. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm in your English honors class as a sophomore, but I know you teach so many other classes here. What's your favorite one that you teach?
I can't choose amongst my babies, but I teach creative writing 2, Latino literature. I used to teach African American literature as well, and then there's sports writing.
What are your favorite elements of all of those, and do you have like a couple favorites that you like more than others?
You know what I love about this school is that it's like a microcosm of college where you get to choose electives upon, as a college student here, kids have this opportunity to really play that role as well. I just love the fact that there are different dynamics in each classroom. I've got creative writing students who are excelling and they're publishing, they're editing, and we're getting work out to the Roar or the Orange. I've got sports lit kids, and my other electives, which are more culturally rooted, which allow us to read some fantastic works, and they get to learn more about themselves in these works. So it's just, they're so dynamic and different, and it adds so much spice to my life on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to just teaching your regularly tracked classes. But I love my sophomore regents and honors kids, and I do the same there.
So I'm looking forward to taking sports writing, hopefully, with you next year. What sort of things do you do in that class for other prospective people who want to go into that field?
That's a great question. We hit on tons of themes in sports, violence in sports, sportsmanship, greatest sports rivals, teams, individuals, an array of different non-fictional works. I love reading editorials and articles, having kids read from the New York Times, Sports Illustrated, ESPN magazine. And then students are also writing. And we hope to send that out to the not only the Roar, but also to the Orange to help our sports kids, sports lovers, become young journalists. And I've had students through the years now who work for ESPN and other notable periodicals because they've loved it. So they've gone to Syracuse and other places. So that's my goal. It's really my goal is to help inspire kids to not only love sports, but love sports through literature.
So I think it's super cool that we've been able to bond over sports, and you've told me that you aren't a Yankees or a Mets fan. You're just a fan of New York sports, which I don't know how you can do that. But what's your opinion on the state of New York sports right now?
Well, I love baseball. Baseball is important to me. It could be culturally because I'm Dominican American, and I just love the game, and I played the game for so many years. I'm a native New Yorker, and I just loved both teams. Clearly more so, I wear my pinstripes with a lot of pride, so I'd say I sway towards the Yankees because of their excellence. I mean, who does not want to be a part of that the peerless nature of what Yankees are all about? I'm a big baseball fan, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the mound too, or rather playing your favorite sport, baseball as well.
I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate the use of peerless, little vocab. So Yankees brought in Soto. They're looking good this year. What do you think?
I'm just really worried about their rotation. I truly believe that they've got a hole in the number 2 or 3 spot. And I think it's silly for them to even consider moving forward without adding a little more backup for their number 1. Yeah, I honestly believe it's a wonderful addition with Soto on the offense, but you need some pitching. Pitching wins. Pitching beats offense any day.
So they brought in Rodon, and they got rid of a lot of that farm system trying to bring in these new prospects. Do they have anyone coming up, or are they going to have to make trades at the big league level to succeed?
I just don't know if they have the money to make trades, but I would only hope that they can somehow allow Rodon to find himself. Got a couple of, you're paying a lot of big money for some agents, free agents, and they've got to come through. So we'll see what comes of that.
And then you mentioned you're Dominican, you have a lot of baseball, it's in your blood, as you often talk about. Was any of that, because you've also mentioned that you started teaching in the city, what part of that inspired you to want to become a teacher?
I'm going to be honest. When I was a high school kid, let alone a first-year college student, the last thing I wanted to be was a teacher. I had the impression that teachers were all burnouts. And I think it was my first year of college, going to Fordham University, and then reading it was like an ad for a tutor needed across the street at Roosevelt High School for a tutor needed for Amerasian program. I thought, well, why not just pick up my community service hours, right? Because I needed that for college. I went across the street one day. I entered through metal detectors, a long line of kids who were late to school. Then I walked into this Amerasian program and realized that these young kids back in the mid-'80s didn't look like other kids. Some had Asian features, but they were Caucasian, or others had Asian features, but were African or Black. And I asked the nun, like, where are these kids? And she said, these are my students from Vietnam. In 1985, 1986, while I was a freshman at Fordham University, these kids were brought in from Vietnam because their fathers were soldiers who either died in the Vietnam War or left these kids behind because they've impregnated a woman they fell in love with. These were my first students, and I taught them the ABCs, taught them a couple of picture books, and I realized it hit. I loved the notion of teaching kids literature, but even more so, stepping out of that room to realize that the broken system of New York City was true. I'm a product of that broken system. And I didn't want what happened to a lot of those kids to happen to me again. So I became the teacher I never had. And I would hope that 32 years later in this business, I continue to strive to improve because that's all I want to be, the teacher I never had. I'm yearning for something. I'm trying to grasp at something I can't see. And I've only seen it through maybe the Robin Williams movie, Dead Poet Society or Stand and Deliver, but I just want to be the best teacher I could possibly be because I never had one.
It's interesting you bring up the teacher that you never had, like Morris Schwartz. He wanted to be the dad that he never had.
Yeah.
So that's how you started teaching. Can you talk about your journey from then until now?
9 years in New York City. I wanted to devote my time there. So I worked in the South Bronx at Jane Addams Vocational High School. Then I was burning out at the tender age of 29, 30. I was asked to be a department head of my school. And I was like, guys, I can't be. I'm still a kid. I'm learning my vocation, my trade. And they were like, Dennis, you're a senior member. And I thought to myself, I can't live in a place of great desperation on top of the fact that I was burning out with a ratio of 37, 38 to 1 in a classroom. The ratio at White Plains High School was 28 to 1 tops. I was giving, grading, and doing so much work that I was at my end at 30. I needed to move. I needed to change an environment. I went from there to Yonkers, Roosevelt High School in Yonkers, and then I found, in the year 2000, I found this place called White Plains High School. And I drove through its campus and realized that this was different. I saw the kids when I walked in for an interview, and I saw that the kids were beautifully diverse, came from all different walks of life. The town was beautiful too, and then finally entering the interviewing office where 15 people were there to interview me, from PTA members to department heads to the principal, assistant principal. I couldn't believe it. I had never been interviewed by more than one person. And I told them, my first words were, wow, this speaks volumes about White Plains. I'm greatly appreciative, and I thank you. I had a seat, the interview began, and somehow I was hired. I don't know why. Well, maybe I do know why.
I think I know why. And all these years later, you were just nominated by the Youth Bureau for Teacher of the Year, right?
Yeah. I didn't know you knew that. It was a beautiful surprise. Just a month ago, I received this news that I received this incredible accolade, and I don't know what to make of it. I really don't know, but it's really special, and I think it's nice for. I mean, all my colleagues deserve that award for the simple reason that we do what we do, but it's every now and then it's wonderful to get some accolade or pat on the back. It's really cool.
Don't sell yourself short. You deserve.
Yeah, thanks, Will.
And then, so you love this community. I mean, you've been here for a while, and you're also such an integral part of the community with the Songwriters Club. What's that experience like?
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
I've been in this city for 23 years. We bought a house back in 2001. My kids are products of White Plains school system, and they're burgeoning professionals in their particular fields also. My daughter's currently a sophomore in university. But one of the things that I loved about this school when I was hired here was I had the opportunity to create my own club. Initially, they were like, well, you're a rookie. Mr. Polanco, pick a club from an array of options here. And I saw Ultimate Frisbee, I saw chess. I was like, oh, these are all great and typical, but I'm a songwriter. Do you guys have a songwriters club? And the administration just wondered, like, what's that? And in the year 2000, the Songwriters Club was born. We began with a small crew of about 5 to 8 students, and we met twice a week. We networked. I taught them how to network, build their musical prowess, build their skills in a certain instrument, and learn how to write songs. Write songs, create songs musically, and then publish. 23 years later, we're going pretty strong. And it's just been a pride of mine to see this beautiful surrogate family of musical misfits create music, play cover songs as well, and continue to thrive.
And now you sell out your shows.
It's great. And we just shot a documentary last year. My students wanted to really get the word out there. And they were like, Polanco, what do we do about it? I was like, I don't know. We're trying everything on social media. What do you want to do? And one young lady said, well, why don't we just shoot a documentary? I was like, that's a great idea. And so we got all the permission slips, and we shot footage from March through June of the year 2023. And we're going to pen it possibly the road to the show, our final show. And it's still in the process of editing because we have at least 20 hours of editing that we have to reduce down to 90 minutes. But it's such a pleasure to even work on that, to somehow very soon show the world what the Songwriters Club is about. Because many people in the school know about it, but very few people outside the school know what this club's all about.
You have a title for it yet?
Don't know yet. I'm going to do a very quick screening of it with my committee, and we'll determine from that point on. But I would hope by June of 2024, we will have it done, and we'll do a nice little special screening for the school.
Do you think you'll publish it at some point?
Yeah, we'll do the festival circuit. We have to. I'm familiar with the festival circuit because I have a movie out on Amazon.
Okay.
And I think it's important that we continue to ship it out to put the stamp of White Plains High School across the world and have the world know how special this incredible school is.
Well, students, when it comes out, go check it out. You have an Amazon movie? Never knew that.
Yeah, I do. The premise is rather, it's saddening in that I lost 3 students to whether it's the drug war or just hanging out in the wrong place, wrong time. And in my 33 years of teaching, I've decided, well, I've got to write about these kids. And my daughter at the time was 12. And I thought, well, let me get these 3 kids and make them create a character that's a composite of all 3. Her name is Natalie. And I thought, well, what do these kids not have? And what they didn't have in life was a mentor or someone to really help guide them off the streets. So the premise of the movie is a 12-year-old street urchin who was just lost in it, entrenched in the streets, selling, doing horrible things. And unbeknownst to her, she has an uncle who has made his mistakes. But now that he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, he tries to show her that there's more to life. And he teaches her how to write music, how to write songs, and how to run. It's a running movie also, very much up your alley. And that's really it. It's an urban musical drama. It's an urban musical drama. And I shipped it to different festivals, and I won 2 festivals. And Amazon knocked on my door and asked, could we buy your movie? I was like, sure. It's called Shadowlands. And it's not a compound word, it's a separate word. Shadowlands, you can look it up on Amazon and Tubi TV under my name, Dennis Polonc.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you play the uncle? Or did you just write it?
I had to play the uncle. It's my daughter was playing Natalie.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'll tell you the funniest thing too. My daughter's reading the script and she goes, it's rated R, by the way. Just one warning. She reads the script. She goes, can I say these words? I'm like, of course you can. You're a professional actor. Can I do that? I was like, of course you can. You're a professional actor. I bring the script to my wife before we even start shooting. Hey, what do you think? And she goes, absolutely not. Page 3. I was like, Maida, just read the rest of it, please. Let me know what you think. It'd be a great risk for Zaida, but it'd be important for her as an actor to really grow. By the end of the script, she was bawling, loved it. She was like, you have to do this. And I did it. And it took us 4 years to create. She completed it at the age of 15, I believe. But it was an incredible, it's one of my favorite works of art, a cinematic piece that I created. To see it come to fruition from the script to the screen is just amazing.
Sounds like a beautiful story. And also, what a great way to honor those students.
Yeah, I miss them. And by the way, when I teach, I have certain desks that are empty because I want to know that they're there. And I only wish they were there. Feeling their presence is important to me. It makes me the teacher I want to be.
Very symbolic. So you mentioned your movie and you also mentioned running. Have you seen the movie McFarland USA?
Is it about the famous runner McFarland?
Right, the team from McFarland, California.
I haven't seen it, no.
It's a very good movie. I saw it in 7th grade Spanish, and then I actually started running cross country, and I had a newfound appreciation for it and how hard running actually is.
That was a movie that inspired you to get on the track? And
a little bit. I had friends who did it too, but that certainly helped. And you mentioned you run marathons too?
I ran the 99 and 2000 New York City marathons. And today, I got a replacement in my right knee right there. After the wear and tear of many years of running, I miss it wholeheartedly. But I found other ways to modify my workouts now.
Did you run any 5Ks?
I did several. Central Park is a very difficult end to the marathon. Why? Because of its hills. And I did a 5K in New York City. It may have been the last true organized run that I ever did. And it really beat me down. But that's when I realized, oh, wow, my knees they're really going. But yeah, I just really miss it a lot. Running for me was not only sheer freedom, but it was when the endorphins kick in after the first 15, 20 minutes, as you know, you feel like you could run on forever with eternal lungs. Man, I miss it. And it's just the pain has been unbearable. So that's why I'm taking care of my body. It's about quality of life right now and finding other ways.
Right. So you told me earlier that you have a daughter who's in college right now, but you also have a son who you've said is very similar to you, but also very different from your daughter.
Yeah. My son is a PE teacher at Clinton High School in New York City. He's been a personal trainer for the past 10 years or so. He's a musician. He thrives as a musician. He's an incredible singer-songwriter. He has many CDs out, 5 CDs out, albums out on Spotify and iTunes. And while my daughter is more so, I think she's more the extrovert. He's a wonderful introvert, but when he's on stage, he's a monster. He's a beast. But Zaida's she's an actor. She's an actor, and again, at the age of 12, I gave her this opportunity. She's done a couple of shows too, like Orange is the New Black. But she's just a multitude of different things. And she also has released albums as well. Her first album and now 3 singles. She's doing really well in university. My son is just, you look at my boy, Ivan, and he's now a father at the age of 30. You're looking at a grandpa. Yeah, me, a grandpa. And I'm loving it. I just, every weekend, holding this tiny goober in my arms, it's an incredible new phase in life that I'm living.
What's that like, being able to, like, you've been a parent, but now you get to be that cool grandpa?
Well, it's been 20 years since I wiped a baby. And let me tell you, I haven't lost my touch, because it's just spending 5-7 hours and losing track while I have my grandson in my arms, while I tell my son Ivan and his beautiful wife Nicole, like, go out, have fun, grandpa's got it. It's just it's beyond words. It really is. It's a phase that I wholeheartedly take in, and I don't know. It's just one of those beautiful aspects of life that you have to understand. You have to live it to appreciate how beautiful it is. It slows time. Having a grandchild just slows time. Having a child alone slows time. Time is insignificant when you've got this incredible organism who looks just like you, just like staring into your eyes. And, you start to see the world from their perspective, and it's a purification of the soul.
What's his name?
His name is Elino. His name is Elino because my father-in-law's name is Felino. And in tribute to his grandfather, Ivan called his son Elino.
Super nice.
It's cool.
So you're in this next chapter as a grandpa. What are your plans, hopes, aspirations going forward?
Buy a batting tee, plastic wiffle ball bat, get him working. Simple. And then soft toss. Seriously? Seriously? Well, Ivan's like, hold on a second, Pop. But just reading to him and continue my publishing, continue writing screenplays and poems and my music, and continue thriving and teaching, and continuing to try to be the best teacher I could ever be, a teacher I never had.
So nice. And then, as an English teacher, you read a lot. So do you have a favorite quote from anything you've read or heard?
I often go back to my favorite book. And of all books I've read, this is ironically the shortest. It's The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry.
French, right?
And yes. And the English translation of this particular line is, the fox tells the little prince, what is essential in life is invisible to the eye, which is love. All right. And the little prince is searching across space and the galaxy, trying to understand the meaning of love. And that is it. It is the most important thing.
Something people are always searching for.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to end it. Love is everything. Happy Valentine's Day, belated. And see you next time.
Will, thank you so much for this opportunity. You rock.
See you, Mr. Polanco.
All right, buddy.